Hello again. In this video, I'd like to look at the WealthTek scandal in the context of the FCA's secondary objective. Contrary to belief, this is not a direct criticism of the FCA. The secondary objective challenges the FCA to help improve the international competitiveness and growth of the UK economy, in particular financial services. This came into play in 2023 under Jeremy Hunt and has since been given more muscularity by Rachel Reeves. Now, there's nothing wrong with targeting the financial services sector to help boost economic growth. In many ways, it's a very good idea. It does, however, require a very careful balance because improving competitiveness and also ensuring appropriate consumer protection is a very, very fine balance. And I do sympathise with the FCA in this context. It's a difficult job to perform. There are many theories on growth and how the UK has sort of disappointed in terms of growth and productivity over a prolonged period of time. Theories offering an explanation are beyond the scope of this video. I sometimes look back on my career and what I've seen is a huge shift of capital effectively driven by the actuary and accounting professions along with some regulation. This shift of capital from listed UK equities into higher quality bonds, principally gilts. And if you think about that, what it is it's effectively transferring huge amounts of capital from a sector of the economy that has the potential to be very productive to one, namely the government, that historically hasn't utilised resources very well. And if you consider it in this context, it's hardly a surprise that we've had very little growth or underperformed, say, the United States, because you've got a number of very, very productive, innovative companies, trading on very, very low valuations that have fundamentally been starved of capital. And I think to try to address that, which has been sort of in play for over 20 years, to try to do it very quickly is perhaps oversimplifying quite a challenging issue. Now, breaking in 2023, the WealthTek scandal has in many ways been an inconvenience to the ambitions held within the secondary objective. Whilst the WealthTek scandal, I have argued, has exposed an holistic range of failures by the FCA, and again, as I argue in these series of videos, broader shortcomings within the regulated prosecutor model, it hasn't presented a systemic risk to the financial services sector. It's a shortfall of £80 million is a staggering sum of money, but it's not large enough to put the entire system at risk. It's almost become convenient to ignore the WealthTek scandal in the pursuit of the secondary objective. And in my opinion, both Jeremy Hunt and Rachel Reeves have chosen to be what I would say tactically ignorant of the plight of the victims of the WealthTek scandal. I've also argued, and I address this in the book, I would argue that trying to use the financial services sector to generate additional growth within the UK economy is folly without starting by reforming the regulatory architecture of that sector. And it's very clear that Jeremy Hunt and Rachel Reeves, none of them had the appetite to do that. So in some ways, I look at it that they're trying to botch a job and do it on the cheap. And I described this in the book Lost to the Races as putting the cart before the horse. Essentially, I believe you need to address the issues that I've raised in these videos and then build for growth after that. Unfortunately, they're trying to come at it in the wrong angle, in my opinion, and I don't think it will generate growth in the long term on a sustainable basis. So here we are. It's time to wrap up this series. In this series, I've attempted to show you how the regulator-prosecutor model and the conflicts of interest and obfuscation that reside within it fails the victims of financial scandals. I would also argue that it also fails society. I've shown you the process from the experiences of a whistleblower, one that decided to not accept the obfuscation tools of Time Zero and Prejudice the Investigation because I could see that they were in essence compounding the distress experienced by the victims of the WealthTek scandal. When you deconstruct the narrative and draw back the curtain, you see nothing other than a cohort of people who are feasting on the misfortune of others. I thank you very much for listening, and I don't plan to do any more videos unless something happens, which I believe I can perhaps add some value in commenting upon. But in terms of taking you through the process, this is it. So take care. Bye.